Hello, YouTubers. This is Angela Logan bringing you more shenanigans, everyday shenanigans from the High 10. Hello, how are you doing? Right now, I want to bring you a update on the Jeffrey Epstein saga that has been playing out in the media. This story is just arriving maybe around September 5th of last month. So, as you know, we're in a new month. I hadn't seen anything recent of any updates or anything new with his case. As most of you know, he took his life on August 10th. So he had cases brewing at the time with a Miss Virginia Giuffre. And right now, the situation that's going on with the courts in New York is that the judge is trying to decide how much information is to be uh, given, leaked out, or whatever to the public, stemming from personal information deriving from previous court cases and defamation suits and pertaining to Mr. Epstein. Uh, Virginia Jeffrey, who had filed a sexual assault case against Mr. Epstein. Um, she also had filed a suit against a Miss Ghislaine Maxwell, who has been linked to being a procurer for Mr. Epstein in seeking and finding women for him to bed, on and on. And Miss Jeffrey had filed a case against her, a defamation suit against her. And after she was deemed a liar by Miss Maxwell, Miss Maxwell called her a liar for involving her in allegations that she was involved in procuring women herself for him. So they settled a suit out of court. Now be mindful of that, because in your mind you have to ask yourself, always ask yourself, why would anyone settle a suit out of court? Okay? If I have done nothing wrong, and you're coming to me accusing me of a crime, and I have made a claim that I am no way involved, I am not guilty in what you're accusing me of, then why in the world would I settle a suit? So I found some blame there with Miss Maxwell as being what you would call the madam, the go-getter, the go-to girl to get the women, the girls. I think she has some involvement, because she would have never settled that suit with Miss Jeffrey if she didn't have some type of involvement. So right now, 2,000 documents have been disclosed to the public involving dealings and court documents pertaining to Mr. Epstein's past. And so right now, I guess they're still in limbo of what they will reveal and not reveal. Um, there was a black book that belonged to Mr. Epstein in the past, and it was disclosed to the public by Gawker in 2015. And in that book, Bill Clinton, um, Donald Trump, and Prince Andrew's names were in that book and were leaked to the public. Now, mind you, the book, had over, the little black book had over 1,000 plus names of different people, famous people, So you can't say who was involved in what, because naturally he was a well-known man, he was a wealthy man, he rubbed elbows with all type of famous people. So one can't say that Clinton, Trump, or whatever were in cahoots with him with these young girls or having sex parties or whatever. Naturally, you have to have proof before you can bring an allegation against any party or any names that were in that book. But naturally, Prince Andrew name fell out of there. And I had watched a video recently where some woman that went to his door, knocking on the door, and he knew her, obviously, because she knocked on the door. He opened it, said something to her, looked up, someone had a camera, and then shoo fly shoo, she went on her merry way. But I think he knew her, and this lady was known to be an escort, or in a worldly fashion, girl of the night, whatever you want to call her. And so naturally, it wasn't a long-winded conversation, but I think he knew her. And I think what threw him off was the fact that it was being filmed. So naturally, he wasn't going to talk long, nor was he going to invite her in. But as I said, nothing has come out revealing those three people who I mentioned, Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, and Bill Clinton in any fashion or form to have had any dealings with any sexual innuendos, sexual escapades, parties, whatever, with Mr. Epstein. Like we said, it's just a matter of the court releasing documents. But that case, like I said, with Miss Jeffrey against Miss Maxwell, that is a case that's in the files, in the hidden files or whatever. And so it's a matter of that information, if it's going to come out and what was said and done and who did what and what names were involved in that case. Now, mind you, there was a gentleman who went to the judge personally and asked, I guess, had a lawyer ask that his name not be revealed because he was hearing of these talks and people's names coming forward, and he feels like it would be unfair to these people to have their name released when they don't have anything to do with the case per se, and it's just a two-party suit that's, playing out in public with Miss Jeffrey and the deceased, Mr. Epstein, and he feels like any names that were in any defamation suits, lawsuits, or cases pertaining to Epstein, those names shouldn't be revealed. So he went to the judge on behalf of himself, saying, I don't want my name revealed, and I don't think you should reveal other people's names. But see, we already know it's going to be up to the judge to decide what's relevant to release as far as Epstein's case files. Because like I've told you all in a video a while back, he was accused of sexual assault against a child. He was on the sexual register as being a sex offender, pedophile. So that is proven. He went to court. He settled a suit with the mother or stepmother or parents of that child. He also was on a what I call weekly house arrest and did his time on the weekends for about a year or so, which I thought was very unfair because I don't think he had a right to be staying at home just because he was a businessman and do his time, only on the weekends. I thought that was shoddy and fake and foul. To me, that was just rank. That was so rank. But for those of you who didn't know, he was a register before he killed himself, and he's on the register as a sex offender. So he had a tendency to like girls. And that's what this Miss Jeffrey lady has said, that he liked girls, and that Miss Maxwell, who was a longtime friend, she is noted as a procuress to find him women. So I thought, well, this sounds kind of like the old R. Kelly saga. Always somebody in the mix who goes out and finds the girls for the men, which you a fool to do that, because you should know that down the road, when something jumps off, somebody wants to file a claim, your name's going to come up in that. And so look at this. Mr. Epstein has now been dead since August 10th. And ain't nothing stopping. And the Southern District Court of New York is basically saying the trial is still going on. The investigations are still going on, even though Mr. Epstein is no longer living. So you see, nothing stops because a person dies, gets sick, kills themselves. Because if there's a wrong, they've got evidence that there's a wrongdoings, plural, the band will play on. I'll give you an update next time I get something about the Epstein saga. And you all stay safe. And thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks a whole lot. You all stay safe out there. And I'll be back with more mess and shenanigans, honey, about these fools out here. Because you know I will. Bye-bye.